My dear students, welcome to this presentation. Today I am going to take up one of the chapters that you have in your textbook, and the name of the chapter is The Gardener, written by P. Lankesh. I am excited to take up this presentation. I hope you have the same spirit. This presentation will assist you in preparing the examination confidently so that you can come off with flying colors. Let us be excited to learn something new today so that you can carry a beautiful memory for tomorrow. Let us begin this chapter with the introduction to the author P. Lankesh. P. Lankesh is an Indian writer and journalist who wrote in Canada. After graduating with an honors degree in English from Central College at Bangalore, he completed his Master of Arts degree in English from Maharaja College, Mysore. P. Lankesh's first book was Keriya Neerannu Kerigichalli, a collection of short stories published in 1963. This was followed by several collections of short stories and poetry, three novels, critical essays, translations, as well as several plays and films. His 1976 film Pallavi won India's National Award for Best Direction. My dear student, let's begin with the lesson. Before I could take up this lesson, I want you to introduce four important characters that you have in this lesson besides the narrator. And who are these four important characters? Number one, you have Tamanna. Number two, you have Basavaya, who is also known as Sangoji. Number three, the owner of the coconut grove. And number four, the owner's wife. These are the four important characters that you will come across in the lesson, and I expect you to remember these four important characters because they are going to play a very important role in the lesson. The narrator tells the readers that this story originated in his chance encounter with an old man who was standing in Coconut Grove near Chennarayapatana. Now, Chennarayapatana is in Hassan district, which is known for one of the monolithic statues of Gomateshwara. The people they come from different parts of the world not only to see this magnificent statue but also to offer prayers to Gomateshwara. Then the narrator offers a brief introduction or description of the old man. You need to know how the old man looked. You need to know what are the qualities that you can see in the old man. How physically he looked. And what are the other great qualities that narrator could see in the old man? The narrator offers a brief description of the old man. He tells us that the old man's eyes seems to be filled with strange memories and native intelligence. The old man was very tall, with grey hair and a long beak-like nose, and his strong muscular arms. One hand he held a spade used in tending coconut trees, and there was a newspaper tucked under his arms. Now, when you think about the newspaper, you need to understand that the old man was a very knowledgeable person, and he updated his knowledge every day, and he had the capacity to pass on that knowledge to others. That shows that he's a very intelligent and man of knowledge. Then the reader is told that the old man was a laborer, overseer, and philosopher all rolled in one. Now, what you need to understand, these are some of the important qualities that the narrator is saying that he was a laborer, he was an overseer. Overseer means he was a supervisor and also a philosopher, the person who has knowledge of life can be called as philosopher. And these are some of the important qualities that you can see in the old man. The next part, the narrator tells the reader how the old man came to be employed in the coconut grove. He tells the reader that one day the old man came to the coconut garden after walking hundreds of miles. Wow, hundreds of miles. This is something that makes me to think, or sometimes I feel flummoxed, confused. How is it possible that man can walk hundreds of miles? Is it possible? Then I got an answer to this question. Few days back when there was lockdown in the nation, the thousands of migrant laborers, they walked thousands of kilometers to the native place. They didn't have food, they didn't have water, they didn't have any transport facilities, but they had only one desire to reach the place where they can live happily. Therefore, when I think about this man walking hundreds of miles, it is not just walking, it is acquiring knowledge about the place, understanding the culture of the place, understanding the ritual, understanding the food, understanding what kind of people they live in different parts of the country. I'm very sure this man had a lot of knowledge when he walked from one place to another, when he went from one village to another, acquiring the knowledge of life, and that makes him a great philosopher. Since the owner of that plantation needed a person of his qualification, he hired him immediately after talking to him for a few minutes. Now you'd be very surprised, why did this owner accept this man without even giving for the second thought? You need to understand a little bit background about this owner. This owner was a normal person and he was a very hardworking person because he was facing financial crisis. And as he was facing the financial crisis, he was looking for someone who can help him to come out of that situation and help him to give that loan back to the people from whom he has taken. Therefore, he was looking for someone who could help him in agriculture and the management of the workers. When he sees the old man, he strongly believes that he is the right person. He is the one who is going to change his life. He is the one who is going to transform his plantation. He is the one who will make him a very prosperous man in the village, at the same time pull him out of the drudgery of financial crisis. After recruiting the owner, this old man in his farm, there was a drastic change that can seen not only in the plantation as well as in the life of the owner. Thus, the old man becomes the employee in the coconut grove and stayed on. Then the narrator tells the reader that old man did useful work. He was very well known in agriculture, that he easily understood the problems of the workers. This is another important, I can say, quality of this old man. Understanding the problems of the workers. This is something that we expect from every person who works in any of the sectors. Because if you understand the problems of the workers, naturally you are able to motivate them, and they will not reject or deny any proposal that you keep before them, and they are ready to work for you. And when they work hard, naturally the income of the land or of the plantation will increase. There's another thing that you come across, that there used to be a petty theft in the garden came to an end, and naturally the income from the garden improved dramatically. Just imagine today's rate, if you think about coconut, let's see, 25 rupees per coconut. Now imagine if every day 100 coconuts are stolen by the thieves, how much loss the owner is going to bear. That could be one of the reasons why he was in financial crisis. Therefore, you need to understand, because of the hard work of the old man, there was perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. The plantation expanded, but the owner became lazy and he shied away from the hard work. He used to be a hard working person. He used to look after the plantation, but now he has become so lazy, he does not have time even to spend few hours in his plantation. One of the reasons that he has given complete responsibility to the old man, he has given the autonomy, saying that he will look after the garden and he will take care of the garden at the same time. He will maintain the workers, and that is one of the ways how he might have washed his hands, putting all the burden on the old man. Then what happened? The narrator tells us that the owner's wife found the owner's behavior strange and puzzling. She found it hard to decide whether the owner's arrival was for the better or for the worse. Her husband's wealth and social prestige had risen higher, and he had acquired a number of friends in his own village and in the next town as well. See, when you have money, you should have the reason how to spend it. You find different ways. You find different people who can take you to the different places where you can get entertained. Now, because of all this entertainment, he cultivated umpteen other vices, including adultery. Adultery is nothing but having extramarital relationship. She never believed that this man is going to betray her and also will have relation with other women. Therefore, she was totally confused. Therefore, the owner's wife realized that financially they had been doing well, but her only source of worry was that along with the financial improvement, their life was also gradually getting out of hand. Understanding her concern, the landlady was in a fix. The gardener narrated a convincing story to make her understand the reality. The old man tells the reader that in a far off place, once there lived a man called Tamanna. He had 10 acres of land, a comfortable house, and people ready to carry out his orders and instructions. Besides these possessions, he also had a rival, and his name was Sangoji or Basavaya. Both Tamanna and Basavaya were rivals. If Tamanna bought 4 more acres adjacent to his land, Basavaya would also do the same. If one of them had 10 friends, the other would acquire 15 admirers. Though initially all this looked like healthy competition, it took a nasty turn later. Their rivalry rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. All land belonged to either Tamanna or Basavaya. Tamanna had 1,000 acres and Basavaya 800. Basavaya could not tolerate this. His men asked Tamanna to sell 200 acres, but Tamanna refused to do so. On the other hand, Tamanna offered to buy all the land that belongs to Basavaya. Basavaya became furious. He went along with his people and acquired 200 acres of Tamanna's land forcibly and got it fenced up all around. Tamanna could not put up with this invasion. Tamanna's advisor told him that there were three ways by which Tamanna could get back his land. He could go to the court of law, or he could also take recourse to the police. If he did not like to do either way, he could also use muscle power to get back his land. There were any number of persons to ready attack Basavaya and wrest his land from him. Such a war had become inevitable. But Tamanna was in search of a method that could destroy Basavaya completely. Tamanna used a novel method. He got all his experiences composed in the form of ballads and sang them in public. Their rivalry moved away from visible things to something abstract. Basavaya could not do the same way. He tried to show his rivalry in doing agricultural tasks more diligently. But that was also in vain. Meanwhile, Tamanna's reputation started spreading all around. His songs started making a mention of Basavaya's cruelty and his meanness. Scholars and critics went after his song and earned their share of fame. Basavaya became desperate and angry by encroaching on more and more of Tamanna's land. But Tamanna was ignorant of all these things and blissfully enjoyed his singing. Basavaya felt humiliated, which he tried to hide his acquiring all kinds of luxuries. He got a palatial mansion built for himself, appointed a number of people to praise him, and bedecked himself with gold, diamond, and other precious stones. But his house looked dull and empty because Tamanna's books were not there. This was the opinion of the visitors. He attempted to fill the lacuna by inviting scholars, poets, and musicians to his place. This way, he tried to invest his home with meaning. One day, Basavaya came to know that Tamanna was ill. The news made him happy. At that point, Basavaya found the means of surpassing Tamanna. Health is wealth. Tamanna's disease was Basavaya's health. But Tamanna thought differently. He had taught it another method of punishing Basavaya. Tamanna at the level of the body Basavaya would go on offering a stiff competition. What if he died? That Basavaya can do nothing to defeat him.
The old man ends his story telling the coconut garden owner's wife that, wishing to destroy Basavaya completely, Tamanna gave up everything and ran off from his village. As long as Tamanna was there, Basavaya had a reason to be alive. But once Tamanna left the place, Basavaya passed away. The old man tells the lady that Basavaya died because he had no reason to live. Then he confesses to her that he is Tamanna himself. After Basavaya's death, Tamanna tells the lady that he forgot all his songs and ballads, lost his fame, and became a non-entity. He concludes telling her that way he avenged himself. Before going to the last part of the story, Tamanna tells the woman that experiences of his life had made him realize that human nature is very strange. He sums up his experiences in one sentence. He tells her that though man works to fulfill his many needs like wealth, education, art, and many more things, yet those things do not give him the right compelling reasons to live. All through his life, man lives for some kind of unbearable wakefulness. It is in this wakefulness that he finds the reason for his existence. Finally, he tells the woman that he thought of this story when all of a sudden Russia told America that she is not their enemy and Russia shall not wage a war against America. He asked her to guess the agony and boredom of America. Then he remarks, a nation is capable of withstanding strains like this, but human being cannot. The old man gives this analogy probably to hint that after Basavaya's death, his own life had become meaningless. Finally, using his autobiographical account as an example, the old man tries to covertly give her a message. He tells her that her husband was flourishing as a rich man and was not amenable to any advice. Man is so complicated that till the day of his death, he goes on living for some revenge or the other, confronting one challenge or the other. He wants her to understand that she had better try to understand why her husband is living like that. Finally, ask her to take the whole story as a dream and not to take his words seriously. We can understand here that he is saddened by the coconut grove owner's lifestyle and wants to put an end to it by cautioning the lady about her husband and do something to find out why her husband was doing so. As soon as the old man finishes his story, the first narrator reappears and tells the reader that he had seen all this in a dream and hence he is unable to elaborate. Thank you, my dear students. I hope this presentation helped you a lot to understand this chapter. I wish you all best of luck. If you have any doubts, please come back to the presentation and clarify your doubts. Thank you. Have a nice day.